Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappleville. Welcome back to some Song of Ice and Fire. We're going to be painting another one of these Starfall Outriders. This is from the Martel clan. Again, Song of Ice and Fire here. This is the color scheme we're going to do. There you go, there's the card. Pretty darn simple, really. You've got a warm-ish black-brown horse. You have some cooler darks here, most like, well, say Van Dyke brown here, indigo here, brown matter over here, and Egyptian violet potential. Well, I didn't use quinacridone magenta on my tutorial video that I did, so we're just going to be doing some of our naphthol red and some of our Egyptian violet. That should be good enough to get this going. Hey, Landrast, sorry I didn't get a chance to give you a heads up on this, but oh yeah, this will be a video going with the. Let's see if I can grab this here. Thanks, Paint Liquor. Appreciate that. I'll get you a toast in a second, but it's like they have their own little umbrella, Landrast. Their own little umbrella. So, I mean, it would have been nice to maybe have that printed, at least the trunk printed 10% larger, but then you'd have to do the leaves too, so I'm not quite sure how that would work out. This will work out just fine over here. Thank you so much, Paint Liquor. Appreciate that. Because the tree itself, I mean, not all trees are that huge, right? They're not necessarily that huge. Now, Gerard Monster, I'm trying to think if these would have, no, I'm not sure these would have been perfect for our Lizard Man army. Although 3D printed stuff would have been really, really, really sweet to have, especially some of those 3D printed plants that we've used on some of our other projects here. But I think when you see this, you'll say, oh yeah, you know, those 3D printed plants could have worked out really well on something like that. Now, those two engines of the gods in the background over there, well, those were done entirely scratch sculpted. People to this day say, yeah, the only reason you did those was so that you could paint spacescapes, and I cannot confirm nor deny that. You got Babo the Mage Priest right there in his unit of totally converted Temple Guard, because I just took regular Saurus, changed around their weapons, and then put those kind of Triceratops helmets on them. there's the cavalry unit that only saw one round of action. Hey there, Megan. Nice to see you. Sorry that you're still awake, of course, because it's pretty darn late over there. This is Baby Babo. This is the Mage Priest. Once again, people say, oh, you only did that just so you could paint a spacescape. Once again, I cannot confirm nor deny that. This Sticky Wicket, he was actually the field general of the army. He was a skink chieftain. Fun little conversion there. And of course, at Games Day, we made a painting out of him. Actually, all this terrain that you see, I've done videos on all that terrain. That's also part of the Patreon page. And here is the army display board. Actually, it's still have to get in a few more pictures of this here, because oh my gosh, there was a lot to this. We actually did play a couple of games on this. There's my skink and Croxigore unit with the 36 skinks and the 4, count 'em, 4 Croxigores. That was a favorite unit of mine. It did actually manage to take down, I think it was a greater beast of Zinch or something like that. I don't know what it was. It was some kind of a greater demon. That's what it was. Greater demon. Okay, well, Megan, geez, Megan, if you want to, oh, everybody please give Megan a follow. Geez, Megan, shout yourself out. Because, yeah, at least you could get yourself some follows from the folks that are in the chat. Because, yes, Megan did her first stream today. So everybody, please go follow Megan. And Megan is going to do those every single day. She's going to do 2 11-hour streams back to back. She'll take about 2 minutes to use the bathroom, but otherwise, yeah, 22 hours of streaming 7 days a week, because that's what Megan can do. She can manage all the other things and that all at the same time. You should also check out some of Megan's eBay auctions too. So now that Megan is completely horrified, as usual, now she can freely post all of her links, her link tree, and also please give Megan that follow so that you can see these interminably long stream, at least for her anyway, because she'll be passed out probably about 4 hours in, like pretty much any streamer would be. And so Megan is going to adhere to the idea of a stadium pal. Remember those Landrast? Remember the stadium pals? Yeah, that's what Megan's going to utilize. That's always a good thing. So Paint Liquor, thank you so much for the sub. This is what we'll be painting over the next our Friday and Saturday stream as well, because this way we'll at least have all the miniatures done. Now, should there be extra time on Saturday, I might be inclined to paint the whatchamacallit, the movement tray. It'll be weird to see that being painted on stream, but it would mean we would have everything painted up, and pretty much by Sunday I could be doing the pictures there. Thanks so much, Sammy. So again, everybody please give Megan Paints a follow. Now, Megan, if you wanna, well, I don't know if you know when the next stream is gonna be, because again, you have other things to do and concern yourself with. But if you have any kind of a general outline of when you might stream next, just let people know. So there's no commands, Sammy. So Megan might be streaming tomorrow. Actually, Megan, when might that be? Because Kathy also was surprised. I think she followed you today, right? Yeah, I think she got surprised because I ran in there and I told her, as soon as you told me, I said, hey, Megan was streaming today. And then actually you were in Hobbies for Happiness. You were in her chat, right? So yeah, I let her know. So again, everybody please give Megan that follow. Now, what are we doing here? We're doing just like we did here. Just like we did on this horse. You're going to do Van Dyke Brown there, Egyptian Violet on the cloth and the headdress, and then indigo in the other areas. Okay, so yeah, again, Megan, feel free to promote yourself there in the chat. We want to make sure that all of our fellow Twitch streamers get that love. So 11 a.m. Eastern, noon here. So that just means that you'll have to start streaming, Megan. You'll have to adjust that time to about, what, 4 a.m. here. That'd be 5 a.m. your time. So, yeah, if you started streaming at 5 or 6 a.m. your time, we could raid you from here. Yeah, that's said nobody ever, right? So again, everybody please give Megan that follow. We always love it when people are jumping into the streamiverse there. And of course, I think, well, I don't know, tomorrow, Megan, you think you might have that up on Instagram there? The figure that you were painting on stream today? So Megan's just going to take a quick few-hour nap and then start streaming again. Now let's see, that would be what, 5 a.m. your time, 4 o'clock mine. What that time is it here? So it's 12:13 a.m., 1:13 your time. Well, I mean, you can do that, take a half-hour nap, do a bunch of stuff with the kids, and then you'll be bright and right as rain for streaming, won't you? Of course, totally. Now we're going to let that sit on there for a bit. We're going to grab a smaller something brush here and whatever so that we can do some of it. Where the heck did those go? There you are. So it's already on the... Oh, yeah, actually, Megan, I think I dropped a like on that. So don't be a moron like me. Go directly to Megan's Instagram and just put the like on there and remember that you did it. Because, well, not... My brain doesn't remember many things these days. Oh yeah, this is indigo too. It was kind of weird. In some ways, it felt like I was painting some of my Harad stuff when I was painting that figure again. Where did that thing go? Oh, here it is. So this was a tutorial video that I just did last night. Now, of course, it joins some of the other Cav that we've done in tutorial videos also on the channel here. So you can see there's our desert basing, but a little bit different feel to it, right? And then if we can somehow get here we go. So here's our Resurrection Queens. There's our Night's Watch. Also, this was a tutorial video right here. And then the rest of them we painted up on stream. Because that's kind of how things go here. As much as I can, I try to save things for painting on stream. And I just, well, like I say, once in a while we do Cavalry here. Once in a while. Now, of course, this is really nasty and horrible looking, which means it's just about right. If it looks horrible and nasty, that's just the way it is. That's how we like it, right? Landrast and Paint Liquor. So now Landrast, I guess you can say it's getting closer to the weekend, so I wasn't sure if maybe you and M. Tellies might be doing some hobbying this weekend, maybe some board game stuff, because reasons. Or raisins, chocolate-covered raisins. That's what I need to get for myself. And not some measly 1-pound bag. I need to get me like a 55-gallon drum of those, because that'll last me, I don't know, about 3 days. Yeah. So Megan, thanks so much for being here as always. And if everybody could, all kidding aside, please give Megan that follow. It's really cool that A, you're able to do it, and B, able to get some enjoyment out of it too, because I mean that's key, right? You want to be able to enjoy it, have some fun. Now look at that. See, that's Van Dyke Brown is not exactly a staining color. Now I will say that this particular part of the plastic is not your typical hard GW plastic. It's a little closer to that new Bones material. So in some ways this might be a tad bit more absorbent. Not much, but a tad bit. Alright, well Megan, I really, congratulations. Congratulations. And actually Megan, we'll talk about how to make highlights and how to do some thumbnails for yourself, because I think those will be good for you. I know it's more work, and I know it can be a bit of a hassle, but I think that's something that might be good too. So we'll chat about those tomorrow as well. I think this, yeah, why don't we just do that too? Now let me once again get to my naphthol violet. That's what we're gonna make here, is naphthol violet. Naphthol by itself does have a teensy bit of staining, so maybe if we do this and we leave it on there a bit, we'll have more than just the Egyptian violet. And what the heck, I don't care. I'm just gonna blast that right onto the face, because do I really care? Not. Hey there, hey there, Thrannual. I combined Bithron and Thrannual together to make Brannual. That's a new cereal. That is a super high fiber cereal. Low in sugar content, but high on fiber. That's Brannual. So Bithron and Thrannual, how you guys doing? Okay, Megan. Yeah, it's really, I think for you, you'll just go, oh, that's it, and you'll be able to slice through that no problem. So Bithron, that was really nifty seeing, of course, a finished, completed unit is always really nifty to see. And well, like you and I were talking about, there's just some kind of bit of an afterglow that you get when you say, all right, that unit's done, this army's done, proceed to the next thing. Like you were saying, just like you were saying, kind of bounce back and forth between different things. Get that mojo going, and probably, as you do one genre, it just might inspire some ideas for the other genre too, whether it's possibly terrain or color scheme wise. That can't hurt for sure. Now, wow, this is. I don't usually. Oh, let's see. Do I have my scissors here? Don't have my scissors, so I guess we're not going to see that. I was going to slice this thing in half, but my scissors are gone. I guess it's a good thing I had some of these sponges already, because all my scissors are. I have no idea where those went. It would be nice if I had a somewhat smaller one here. Oh, let me see. Look through my thing. So I do have a couple of small ones here. Wow, never thought I'd say that I'm looking for smaller pieces of sponge here. A ring bolt. Did a little bit. The things kind of have gone a little bit sideways, unfortunately. Ring bolt. We did do the treatment thing yesterday, but yeah, this new thing here that can. Hopefully that's kind of self-explanatory right there. Now there is a crazy. I wish I knew that saw that this thing was here. I might have to file that down. Hey there, Sarge. Nice to see you. Well, we certainly could use, I don't know, about 20 of these bits of medicine right here. Thank you so much, Sarge. Well, Sarge, we know that lurking while working, well, that's being productive there. Of course, you wish you were working on a certain Witch King. I know that's something you would love to be working on right now, because that was looking super fabulous. All the elements really integrated together nicely there. Tells a fantastic story, creates a great atmosphere, and I'm sure the painting part of it you'll enjoy even more. So ring bolt, hopefully, what the heck was it now? Well, Thursday now. It's officially Thursday here. So hopefully your Thursday is going well. Now let me get down to this here. Where's my? I made this a little bit lighter than the other one. Just a bit lighter. Oh, hey Landrast. You see that the cover of the box of these Starfall Outriders? See that stupid palm tree there? Well, there's actually 2 or 3 palm trees. I swear I did not see that when I thought, oh, maybe I should put these palm trees on their bases. Because I took that box, I took them out of the box right away and used the box for all of this stuff, right, that I was prepping. Oh yeah, never mind, Ringbolt. Sorry, I was thinking today was Wednesday, or well, the day was Wednesday here. Like I said, it's been a not super fantabulous couple of days here. Actually, pretty much since Tuesday, not been a number one here. So I apologize for spacing on that. Sorry about that, Ringbolt. So now, Sarge, is it some of those really tall, are they called scrub bushes or something like that? And there's maybe 8 or 9 or 10 different colors. I can never quite remember what Green Stuff World calls some of their stuff. So sorry, Ringbolt. Yeah, it's Friday here too. I just again, and that's something you're gonna have to, I think, put up with to a more extreme over, especially the next couple of streams here. See what I did there? To the extreme over the next couple of streams. Look at that. Even with 0 brain function, still chucking out linguistic gold like that. So paint liquor, there's never any thinner on the sponges, because even with the staining color, you're just going to wipe it off. Now, of course, let's say you don't like something. Well, you take a sponge with some thinner on it. Yeah, that'll definitely be quite like an eraser. It'll be like one of the, like a dry erase board or something. That stuff will come off, boom, real quick. So hopefully that does kind of, you say, oh, that's kind of cool to actually have an eraser like that. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't sound intimidating. Hopefully it actually sounds pretty cool. Like, oh, well, I can maybe take a chance on something and know that if it doesn't quite work out the way I want, the heck with it, I'll just wipe it away. Hey, Steph, how you doing? Well, in addition to Megan, right? Again, everybody please give Megan Paints a follow, but everybody also please give Cephalopod Studios a follow. So, Seth, if you want to shout yourself out, that's uh, that's cool. Ah, boy, Sarge, I really think you're gonna like those. And at first, I was a little bit concerned. It just didn't seem like there was many of them in the package. And then I realized that I was probably gonna slice every single one of them in two pieces. So I think there's 50 something of them in the pack, or maybe there's 40 something. So you're really actually getting double what you think in there. Bithron, I would definitely be 100% in favor of that. Definitely. So Seth, actually, wait, Seth, if you have any pictures, work in progress of stuff that you want to share or whatever, that's fine. Now again, we're lightening up this, right? But let's not go too far on that. Let's get another one of our Fantastic Filberts. That's going to be a new TV show, The Fantastic Filberts. Yeah. Fantastic Filberts. As we take Van Dyke Brown and some of that Brilliant Yellow Pale, let's get at our horsey right here. So yeah, paint liquor, that's why we kind of talk about those staining colors and this idea that even this is very much, I mean, look at how I'm holding the brush, right? Just two fingers on that brush right there. As light a touch as possible, pretty much at all times. So Ceph is, right now the Ceph device has the kids and the dogs on it. Well, I'm sure that both the kids and the dogs on more than one stream have tried to make a unauthorized guest appearance. Especially the dogs, I could see that happening. Here, let me actually do that. Where's my... There we go. It is, yeah, ring bolt. Less is more and more is way too much. And that also, it applies to just the pressure on the brush. Not just the fact that there's... Look at, see that? Even though super light pressure, you can see that it has an impact. What's funny is that this looks almost like white. Believe me, this next to white is a very dark gray. Yeah, Seth, that's I know. There's sometimes nothing you can do about it, right? They're bound and determined to show up on that stream, and it just sort of happens. Obviously, pets have their own way of making their presence felt, and then the kids. I'll never forget. Oh, that's right. It was some kind of an interview. I think it was a BBC thing or something like that, and they were trying to talk to the Australian ambassador to Korea or something like that, and he was doing the proverbial Zoom call type of thing. Didn't go quite as planned, because bursting through the door was a dog and a kid in one of those things where they've got like a table and a walker combined, which actually, you know what? Oh, see? Yes, the power of the light gray, right paint liquor. Now, here's something. Well, I probably shouldn't talk about this. I should keep this idea entirely to myself. But we should do a Kickstarter, since this is not just a painting channel but also an exercise channel. This is the proposition. So what we will do is those stupid baby things, right, where they can walk around but they still have a table around them, like around their waist or something like that. What if you made one of those that was adult sized and you made it a paint station, so you could paint your miniatures and also be walking and exercise at the same time? What would you say? It promotes a healthiness. It promotes getting your armies painted. Hey, Elfie, nice to see you again. But that's now we just have to come up with a name for that. We could call it the hobby exerciser or something like that, or hobby on the go. But now you could have a super deluxe version that also has cup holders. You could have a super duper deluxe version that also has internet hookups, its own Wi-Fi and stuff like that, so you could potentially stream or watch videos while you're doing that. Although actually paint liquor, now I'm just thinking cup holder now here, when we're using our thinner, it's just a tiny little water bottle cap, but for those people that paint with the acrylics that may or may not have a propensity to drink their paint water, you could actually have one that comes with an alarm or something like that that says don't drink that. So yeah, that would be a hobby on the go. And again, not quite sure why Twitch insists on being twitchy here. Nothing I can do about it, sadly. Pretty much defenseless when it comes to what Twitch wants to do to our signal here. Now again, we're just throwing in some lighter sand here. Lighter sand. And this was all part of actually 2 videos. So already this unit has been part of 2 pair of tutorial videos on the Patreon page. It was a basing tutorial to show how we did the sculpting of the sand dunes and how we used the palm tree plants and trees. Elfie, I don't know, there's an awful lot of people that seem to do that. That is not something that I ever did. Mostly because, well, I had a tendency to just use things like this for my paint water. So not much chance of drinking out of that. But I know people, though, I have mugs or something like that, well, look a heck of a lot like something they'd be drinking out of. So it's understandable that in just a moment of distraction, people would grab hold of that and take a swig. Hey there, crazy wolf. So now paint liquor chose to snarf down some beeswax one time at Sal. Well, hopefully, if you had, well, I guess if you eat enough wax or something like that, and later on, shall we say, post exit or something like that, you could collect that paraffin and just put a wick in it and set it on fire. So yeah, Elfie, it's to the point where people have sent us just boxes of caps because Kathy and I both utilize these. I also used to use it on my palette. I would stick it over the top of a color or something like that. I might even spritz a little water in here, stick it over the top of my palette to keep it wet because I didn't do wet palettes. So again, drinking the paint water, most likely a less than spectacular idea. That it's not going to be the fun kind of well, let's just say if you eat enough blueberry or certain cereals that have lots of dyes in them. I think even, well, I think that did it. What was the other cereal that was, well, let's just say you would end up with something that looked very much like lime green. Like a nuclear green or something like that. Yeah, try eating some blueberry, lots of it. Wait till, well, depending on your constitution, later that day or the next day. And you'll notice some unusual colors. Now the colors here are not going to be very unusual. Just a brilliant yellow pale over the top of our Van Dyke brown for the most part here. Hey there, Grand Oracle. Nice to see you again. Sorry this is a later stream, but I mean, it's not unusual for a Thursday really. No idea what tomorrow and Saturday. That's, again, it's going to depend entirely on side effects. So Elfie, you could just ask Landrest what this painting setup looks like. Now, some could generously say it looks like a condemned garbage dump after an earthquake and a few other natural disasters thrown in. That would probably be what it looks like in its best state. In its worst state, looks a little bit worse. Yeah, so this is, we're feeling a Thursday sort of Friday here today, aren't we, Ringbolt? I don't know, there might be some folks that, if they have projects at work they're doing that, who knows, that have to be done by Friday. There might be some folks that actually almost wish this was still Thursday. And they had themselves one more day, even though it would be another day of working. It would be another day of finishing off a project. I could swear there's someone that we know who has to have a project done literally by the end of this week, and they have no way to do that. So them getting an extra day, they actually wouldn't mind that so much. All right, let's grab this here. Why not? So Elfie is definitely of the mindset that cleanliness is next to getting nothing done. I mean, all kidding aside, there would be no reason really to even try to put things away, because when you're utilizing an area 24 hours a day and it never sleeps, so to speak, it would sort of be like, I don't know, taking your kitchen and just putting that away. You're going to need it. There's one thing, it's one thing to straighten up your kitchen, but it would almost be like disassembling your kitchen and putting it away at 9 o'clock in the morning, not counting that you're going to need it, well, at least maybe once or twice more during the day. Let me see. So, oh, hey there, Blazing Tree Terrain. Nice to see you. So, Paint Liquor has to, due to some house showings, has to have that looking spotless. And, yeah, that I can only imagine. Yeah, I'm going to take me do this much right now. And then we'll sit on that. We'll wait on doing some more of our magenta there. Certainly be getting some lighter stuff going here. So again, my apologies. I guess we're just going to be in a permanent phase of the internet doing the wacky things here. No real reason for it. It's sadly been doing that on a lot of the recent streams. So Blazing Tree, we are painting the Starfall Outriders. These are from the Song of Ice and Fire miniature game. Here's the one that we did in our tutorial video last night. I'm going to go with a bit lighter here, I think, on our... Where did you go? Is this the one we're looking for? That is the one we're looking for. We'll take our indigo. We'll take a little bit of our brilliant yellow pale. We're going to start to throw some lighter things out here. So yeah, this is the newest, I'm pretty sure this is the newest faction for the Song of Ice and Fire's miniature game. And of course we'll be doing the similar skin tone there. So Blazing Tree, try and hope that everything is going well there. Throw some more of our lights here. gonna have to get a little lighter in there, but most likely we can just let that get blended in. Just plop that stuff on there, push it around. Then once that gold-ish trim starts to work its way in, then our darks just look that much darker. And that was something that we talked about quite a bit on that tutorial video. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of cavalry units that we've utilized. This one, so that guy was on a tutorial video, then we painted the rest of them on stream. It was the same for the Dothraki here. I forget which the heck one of these. I think we painted maybe, well, actually, we painted two of these guys. Oh, it was the Burnt Umber. Yes, remember the Color Theory video? Color Theory and Oils video on Burnt Umber? Where we painted two of them. One of them with the Windsor Newton Burnt Umber, and then the other one was with the Williamsburg. That was a fun little comparison video there. So Ringbolt, the ornaments those are aside for now because we were doing those as Christmas presents, and that was fantastic. I had a blast, but we are now way behind on everything else. So now I got to get caught up on everything else. There was a bunch of other things that I also kind of needed to paint, but we just set those aside for a while at least so I could get as many of the ornaments done as possible. I think I did 13 of them. I know that at least 7 of them have already been wrapped up and they're gone. Yeah, at least 7 of them. So Armored Wolf has been doing another fantastic dice bag there, and of course everybody please give Armored Wolf a follow, not just on the Instas, but also check out Armored Wolf's Etsy, and that's where you're going to see things like the fabulous dice bags. Very, very fabulous dice bags indeed. Well, a whole bunch of other really cool stuff too, but those dice bags are just pure art there. So paint liquor. Let's see. Well, we did the Golden Company Army Painting Series. Yeah, we did that. And then, well, I did one of the Oliphants. Remember that one? That was pretty fun. Now, paint liquor, do you... how many different units of Golden Company do you have? Because I think I've seen there's the Swordsman. You got the Oliphants. I'm pretty sure there's an archer unit. And then I think there's, what, 1 or 2 other Golden Company units. So yeah, the Golden Company, I think that's been out for a while. Where the heck is our Oliphant here? Oh, there he is. So that's the Golden Company Oliphant right there. We painted this one up on stream. I will try to paint up another one of those, and we'll do it, oh gosh, in TMM style, because we did the first one in regular non-metallic, and I think it would probably be a really handy little lesson for folks to see that. We like to do that. Try painting something in non-metallic and then something again in the true metallic, just to show there's really no difference. It's a sinister purpose. But yeah, the whole purpose is just to show that, yeah, guess what? There's no difference between the two. Hey there, Lamines. So yeah, Lamines, no, obviously, no info yet, because, well, we won't really have that till next Wednesday, unfortunately. As soon as I know, I'll try and shoot you a message, and then you can kind of fill me in with any knowledge that you have there. Yeah, so paint liquor, they have, well, like I said, at least the Oliphants, the swordsman, and an archer unit. I think there might actually be 3 infantry units and the Oliphant. So essentially, well, pretty much a whole army when you think about it. There could be other stuff out as well that I just don't know about. Obviously, the Greyjoys, they have a complete Greyjoy army. So Tiny Tusk, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know what that could be. Actually, I don't remember showing an unpainted one because I don't have too many miniatures that are actually set up for painting right now. So that I don't know. Hey, M. Tellies. Everybody, please also give M. Tellies a follow. So M. Tellies, your drawing looked fantastic there. I think it was, you said that was your first drawing of the year, first drawing of 2023. So M. Tellies, if you wanted to share that or anything, of course, please go ahead and do so because you've got that on your Instas, I believe. Hey, Katarina, nice to see you. So Lamines, how did it go with all of the printing? Because I know you had a massive amount of figs that you were trying to help somebody out with. Hopefully those didn't need too many repeated printings. And well, actually, I did my first. I started up the printer again for the first time in days to do some printing goes ever on stuff. Actually, oh, Landras, did you see? Well, of course, a lot of it doesn't have the supports yet. But the printing, it looks like the printing goes ever on and Kurzlik are both sort of doing an Eisendor type thing. It's like Isengard, but also Mordor. Holy smokes, another 4 or 5 build plates to go. And that's with the big honkin' machine, right? That's with the big honkin' machine, holy smokes. Hey, Axon Blitz, nice to see you again. Happy Friday, since now that I actually have my brain somewhat with me and I realize that it is now Friday and not Thursday morning. I was wondering, actually, so so Landrast, yeah, the Oliphant, right? The new armor, I guess what has modular armor on that Oliphant. Yeah, that's the thing for the big printer, that's for sure. So actually, yeah, I was asking if you were going to be able to at least do some hobbying there, or maybe actually get a chance to do some gaming there. So Axon Blitz, it's been not the most spectacular start to the new year, unfortunately. Not quite what we were looking for. Hopefully other people have had a better beginning to that. What are we doing here? What are we doing? We're just setting this up. This is going to be lighter, of course. But for right now, just trying to set aside some of these areas for a brighter color. Let's also take Mr. Blending Brush here and just whatever. Some of our radiant green. Well, Axon Blitz, I'd hope that, well, may all of your settings be perfect, and may all of your prints be flawless. I think that's, isn't that a plaque that people put on their doors? Instead of that whole Irish saying thing or something like that, the printers, is that the printer's lament, or is that the printer's whatever? I don't know. But I think all 3D printers have a plaque like that over their printer. Well, gee, Lamines, yeah, you know, well, utilize the big thing for what it really does best, for sure. And of course, yeah, that minor detail, right? I mean, Sure, you can try and have it do a long print while you're away, but it still means coming back, doing all the other stuff. Well, like the wash and cure there. But X and Blitz, glad that you have the stuff that you need to get the ball rolling for sure. Now, I don't know if there's a particular thing they say, oh boy, I'd really like to print this first. I know we want to print all the things all at once. Now here, there's just this stupid thing. I might just have to go ahead and say, let me hit this, even though, yes, we just put paint on here, but I am going to file that away. So we just filed away some of our paint. Oh, look. Hard to tell. Well, Paint Liquor, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And again, hopefully we get to see you tomorrow. Well, later today and Saturday, of course. We'll be painting the rest of this unit right here. Again, this, what is a Starfall Outriders. And everybody please check out M. Telly's Insta link there. So again, I'm not quite sure why we're suffering through all the jittery stuff here on the Twitch stuff. Nothing I can do about that. I wish there was. But what I can do, I think, is grab some of my Prussian blue. Yeah, let's grab that. Let's throw that over here. And then we'll just grab ourselves a blending brush and just mix all those together. Ah, that's very cool. And everybody, please, let's welcome in AD Creations. Hey there, AD. Everybody, please also give AD Creations a follow. And of course, AD, I know that you've been focusing on some other things aside from the usual sculpting. But if you want to post pictures of the sculpting or whatever else in the chat, sure, that would be fantastic. Here, let's throw in some more of our light edge here. Yeah, that's going to work. And then also some more of that right here. Gonna throw, let's get a little bit of this onto some of our gold areas real quick, just to, because the lighter those are, then the more we really start to see just how dark everything else is. So again, everybody, welcome in AD Creations. So AD, actually, well, speaking of which, were you going to be streaming it all this weekend? Since, well, it is Friday. Already forgot what day it was. Well, Lamines, you know I'm not going to jinx you there by repeating that line. I'm just going to, I'll let people read that in the chat, and that way you don't get jinxed by me, because you know it would. You know the kiss of printing death is for me to say, oh, look at that, so-and-so has had this huge run of successful prints. If you ever want that ended, just let me say anything about it. Oh, thanks, X and Blitz. Well, X and Blitz, I have tons of sessions here on the channel. There's a bunch of YouTube videos. Of course, I got the Patreon page, which may or may not have about 8,000 object source lighting videos. And that's conservative on that estimate, because we never do object source lighting on this channel, right? Not ever. We never do that kind of thing. Who wants to do object source lighting on their channel? Whether the thing is the source of the light or not, or if it's off-camera light, or if they're walking around with some torches. So Accent Blitz, it's acrylics and oil paints. Even to this day, the Patreon videos probably are still 50-50 oils and acrylics. And of course, same thing goes for the YouTube channel. There's plenty of acrylics there. Obviously on stream it's always going to be oils, because acrylic's just not practical given the interruptions and all that other kind of things that happen. It's way easier to interact and do all the fun stuff like the puppet shows when we're rocking the oil paints. So some color, but next Sunday, AD Creations be doing that stream. So of course, please go ahead and give her the follow. And of course, let's still give Megan. So Megan Paints a follow. Megan did her first stream today, and maybe we can surprise her where she wakes up to having a whole bunch more followers than she did when she went to sleep just a few minutes ago. So Accent Blitz, I keep it very simple. There's a little collection of Reaper paints that I would use, mostly the liner paints, or the clear and liner paints. Not a whole bunch of stuff. And then there was also the various contrast paint vids we would do where we used contrast paint, but not the way GW wants you to use it. Now let's get back into, we'll just use our brilliant yellow pale, why don't we here? Grab a bit more of that. So Elfie, again, I hope everything's going well for you. Let's start this for a little bit of our lights on our gold here every so often, and then eventually we're going to start taking our blending brush to various areas. We're also going to darken down some areas of our horsey again. So I think, I'm trying to remember, maybe 1 or 2 times in the course of 20 years I might have used some of the Privateer Press paints. It's been a long time since we used the Vallejo stuff too. It was, for the longest time, just easier to get a hold of the Reaper stuff, and all I just used was the clear and liner paints. And those worked out pretty well, pretty darn well. Just realized we need a little over here. Also, we've got that. Okay, so it goes on the opposite side of this one from our first one. So here's our, again, this is our latest video. We're gonna, actually this is already rendered. We're just gonna upload this overnight, and that's, well, Friday. This will be up on the Patreon page. So I think Bithron, ironically enough, I probably ended up using more of their, oh, what the heck are they called? Game color, the Vallejo stuff, than the regular Vallejo paints. Again, Vallejo paints just are not the easiest things to get a hold of, since Vallejo only makes miniature painting stuff just for a small portion of the year, 3 months out of the year. The other 9 months they're making stuff for painting houses and cars and other stuff. So yeah, Vallejo, they're a miniature paint company that actually makes many other types of paints and stuff. We'll throw some of this into our Terrosa, maybe even a little bit of the magenta. Let's try to get the face a little bit lighter here. Yeah, what are we, about half? We're less than an hour in. Less than an hour ago, this had no paint on it, and that other video that you saw, or that other miniature you saw, I think I had a grand total of about maybe 90 minutes of actual painting time with that thing. Maybe. Probably even less. Probably more like 80 something. Let's see if I can get some lighter stuff now on the headdress here. So, some naphthol red. Some of our radiant magenta. Maybe even more radiant magenta mixed with our red. That's that naphthol red. Well, that's starting to create a pretty warm color. Hey, RIP artist, nice to see you again. Happy Friday to you. We're as promised, we're into the Martel unit that we did the basing video on. So yeah, this unit's already been the subject of two tutorials. One is basing, and now we're into the painting side of things. Where's our... Oh, that's going to be difficult to get behind me here. So here's the rest of the unit. We'll be painting this one on Friday, and we'll paint this one on Saturday. But here's the where we sculpted all the texture there with the Dazzler dry clay, and then use uh, the 3D printed plants from Make It Epic Basing. Thank you so much, Woody MacWoodster. 4 months of subscribing. That's 4 months of appreciation. Thanks so much, Woody. Boy, we could certainly use that. Certainly use that. Now, of course, here, this is meant to mix with what's already there, right? So we're just going to take that. Here, we'll get our micro blending brush out here. So Woody McWoodster, Happy New Year to you as well. So we got that nasty old line there. How's about we just take that little tap, tap, tap. And now it's integrated into our color. We didn't have to do a bunch of layers, did we? We did one layer. Hashtag no layers. It's sort of funny because there was earlier today someone who was trying to help us out had asked about, well, do you want to do a hashtag? And I said, well, never actually done a hashtag thing before, so I don't really know how that works. It's just something we say on stream, hashtag no layers. Never actually done hashtag no layers. Not quite sure what that actually does, if anything. Boom, there we go. See that? Once again, we'll just take Mr. Blending Brush, spread that lighter color out. Just, I mean, you could do a bunch of glazes or a bunch of layers of acrylic, something like that, or you could just say, I don't have the rest of my natural lifetime to paint all this stuff. I'm just going to throw this color on there and then just push it around with another brush. Well, Elfie, you have yourself a good night. Thanks for hanging out as long as you could. Of course, we appreciate that. And well, hopefully we see you over the next couple of streams where once again we'll be painting the rest of this unit here. Now, maybe on Saturday I try and paint at least maybe some of that movement tray, depending on how much time is left and when I get started. If it's a late start stream, well, no. If it's earlier, well, maybe we have a chance to do that. Now we have Wild Scan, our newest little hobbit, and along comes, well, I think this is more appropriate. Let's have Gandalfax show up, and he's like, so, Shadowfax, really, I mean, you're supposed to be the king of horses. I chose you. Like, look, scale creep, man, that's a thing. It's like, that is so fourth age. So again, this, as you can see, there's a little bit of a size difference between Song of Ice and Fire and our Lord of the Rings stuff. Now, of course, there's also a difference in Conquest and Song of Ice and Fire. So, it's still the craziest thing that this Conquest stuff is that huge. Hey, War Shadow, how you doing? Nice to see you again, of course. And I hope that you're doing really well. There's a piece of fuzz on the end of that brush. I thought so. Actually, this liner brush, starting to reach the end of this portion of its life, it'll be relegated to doing things like our pin line washes for stuff like our rust and corrosion, where we really need it to be pretty darn precise. but we don't want a whole bunch of that stuff floating around. Good morning there, Handorian. Happy Friday. Glad that you're on the mend there, War Shadow. Boy, Lamines, that is... I mean, I don't even know if you could offhand calculate just how many hours of printing time has been going on over the last few weeks there. But again, I'm not going to jinx anything by saying the magic words. That would be very cruel indeed. Because if I was to say anything, all of a sudden it would take more time to do one print than it did the last 10. Because that's how printing goes. I think it might have been, oh gosh, I think it was, no, I don't think it was Green Fairy. Actually, I think I know who it was. Yeah, I complimented them or said, wow, that's fantastic. You've had all that good luck with your printing. And then their printer was destroyed the next day. And that's not an exaggeration. Their printer just committed suicide. And I'm pretty sure that was Grim Nation. Yeah, it must have been Grim that happened too. Lamines, do you think you're going to reach the 5-liter mark? Well, no, I don't. Well, I don't know. Could you reach the 5-liter mark on this thing? Oh, Lamines, again, thanks for doing the scouting mission because those 3 containers of gray resin showed up today. So again, thanks for finding that because, well, of course, with the new situation, maybe we won't be setting up the large printer, but just having that stuff, better than not having it and all of a sudden there's a crazy thing that happens and there's a big price rise, because that's never happened in the past, right? It's never happened where resin goes from being 20 bucks a thing to 32 bucks a thing because of, well, things that are happening there. So Landrast is, he doesn't want me to evoke his printer's name because then Landrast will never get a decent print out of that thing again. That is the power that we have here. So 30 huge ports, yeah. Lamines, it's so weird. It's almost like your gigantic printer is. You have to think of it like my tiny little Sonic Mini 4K. Surface tension, how you doing? It's 1:08 in the morning here, which means it must be time for surface tension. So surface tension, I'm guessing that the dog still needs to get that walk. And of course, surface tension, you want to post any of your work in the chat there. Well, that's always nifty. Now again, we're using that brown matter in a couple of locations over here. Oh, the heck with that. I'll just paint the lighter stuff back over the top of that. I don't really care. Again, we're an hour in, right? We're an hour in. That's it. Plenty of time to dive into more details. Actually, that is not part of the headscarf. That is actually something different. So we're going to change that color, I think. Oh yeah, we do. That doesn't need to be there. Whatever. Yeah, like I really fret about that. So surface tension, dog is awaiting that walk through the neighborhood or wherever the dog gets walked. There's my Terra Rosa. It's more like it. This is part of the Martel Army. They also have a unit of heavier knights, whatever the heck they're called, I don't know. But there is another unit of cavalry for the Martels. They have, I think they might even have the second Heroes box out. Well, Ringbolt, you have yourself a good night's sleep. Thanks for hanging out here. Again, sorry that I spaced on what day it was. Because, well, Tuesday into Wednesday, I don't get any sleep. I am basically up the entire night. So that kind of warps your sense of time when that happens. Did I ever? No, I never really did do that. And we need to get our lighter brown matter up on the reins and bridles on this side. Now, of course, the Song of Ice and Fire figures, the mold lines are going to be going through some real freaky places. It's just what you deal with, right? It's what you deal with. You kind of trade the cheapness of the for the affordability, maybe, and of course the indestructibility for, well, mold lines in funky places. Thank you so much, Surface Tension. We're just we're doing the, I guess you would say, the official color scheme here. I'll show you the unit card very quickly. So that's that is the official whatever scheme there, and here is our tutorial video that we just filmed last night. So, well, there you go. Already well along on our second Martel Starfall. Oh, thank you so much, Surface Tension. Could certainly use some more of this. Now, well, Bithron, it's funny you should mention that because, well, I mean, we talk about it a lot in the videos, where you can always go back later, right? Nothing says you can't go back later. It says, all right, I'll put another hour on this one, or 2 hours, or something like that. Snazz it up, add something to it, some freehand, some markings, insignias, or whatever. Absolutely nothing wrong with going back to a miniature and just say, I'm gonna plus this up a little bit here. I'll add something fancy to it, and that's completely fine. And that's another way to, well, get those armies done faster. Is you say, okay, you know what, this will be good enough for now. Can always go back later if I want to enhance this some more. Why the heck not, right? Yeah, Bithron, I mean, it's has to feel kind of good too, right? When you've done that and you can see that improvement, but you didn't necessarily have to. It's not like going from scratch, right? And I'm just going to take this. We're going to take some of our Van Dyke Brown here. Some Van Dyke Brown. And the idea is to do a wee bit of dry brushing here. However, this is that dry brushing with a twist because, well, what is it doing? It's blending, right, the whole time we're doing that. Not just some kind of fuzzy, weird texture. Well, there's no texture because it's all blending on the fly, which is just a spectacular thing. More darks down here. Yeah, let's do some over here too. Back here. And this is just a nasty old brush. There's no detail edge on this brush at all. And it works just fine for what we need, right? Works just fine. And it's very simple. It is the horse. It just has 2 colors on it. There's some Van Dyke Brown. And there's some brilliant yellow pale, and there's pretty much nothing else on there. We could go in there and do some other stuff, maybe a little bit of, even some green in some places, believe it or not. But we may just keep that a little bit simpler. Oh yeah, let's jerking that boot back down again. That just got a little bit on the lighter side there. Yeah, that's a bit better now. That sword, we don't want it to only have just mid-tones and lights. We have to come back into that with some darks as well. Horsey's face is going to need some of the same sort of highlights that horsey has on its face. We darken this down a little more, I think so, and same there. Maybe even get that hair off of there. Now, oh, no problem, RIP artists. We're only an hour and 10 minutes in, right? Yeah, that's it. Just 70 minutes in. 70 minutes ago, this whole thing was just primer. That's all it was. Not a thing more than just a little bit of primer. Might have to also find some more darks here on the mane and the tail. Thanks, Tiny Tusk, and the oils just, they make short work of it, don't they? You just don't have to struggle, which just makes the painting more relaxing, even if it's set aside the time-saving element. Just the fact that you don't have to really work so hard, given the fact how hard we have to work at all the other things during the day, between the jobs, the kids, and everything else. If our relaxing time could actually be just a mellow, chill, relaxing thing, wouldn't that be spectacular? If it just felt less like working. Now again, we're going to be taking our blending brush to some of that. However, I do want to give it a few minutes to set. So we'll head over to the other side here. Yeah, so Tiny Tusk, all the same things that matter. And actually, if you check out some of the 2D art streams that I do, well, even when we're painting the ornaments, there's nothing in 2D art that doesn't make just as much of a impression here. And of course, the value is important. The light versus the dark, both's actually more important. Things like color contrast, saturation contrast, edge contrast. Because, well, I mean, even when it comes to, and we always like to do this, object source lighting. In many cases, it could have absolutely nothing to do with light versus dark as we make that disappear. Because here you could never even tell that he had object source lighting. Right? I mean, you can barely tell. But when we bring back the color, what do we see? We see very intense orange colors. So saturated warm color, all of this is a cool color that's also very desaturated. Look at all that object source lighting there. That was gone. That was completely vaporized when we got rid of, well, that color. So it wasn't about value contrast. That was all about the color contrast. Alright, well, Laminess, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Well, I won't even say good luck. I won't even say good luck. I'll just say, tell me how it all turns out. Landress, on the other hand, will wish him totally good luck on every single print that he ever does again. Which, well, we'll see if he ever gets a good print again. So Landress right now is saying, why did you just make a voodoo doll of my printer? Oh, that's what we could do. We could have a tiny little voodoo doll of people's printers. And should they transgress, then we put the hex on their printer. So Axe and Blitz, there's at least, well, now we're probably getting closer to 1,300 hours worth of videos on the Patreon page of all kinds. Mixing paints, like literally how to mix and make your own oil paints. TMM, non-metallic, and acrylics and oils, you name it, it's all at freehand. There are quite literally hundreds and hundreds of videos. There's 10 years worth of video tutorials on the Patreon page now that I think about it, because last I heard it was 2013, and I started making tutorial videos in, or 2023, I started making them in 2013. That, my math says 10 years worth. Hey there, Danny M. Now, boy, yeah, Luminous, that's going to be really incredible. That's for sure. So Tiny Tusk, I think, do you remember me talking about the watercolor class that, and actually, ironically enough, I was talking with somebody who was in that very class with me. Well, writing on Facebook back and forth, because he's kind of gotten back into doing art again. And he was in that same watercolor class with me, like in the same room, where for first 3 months of the year we had one color. Halfway through the entire school year we had 3 colors. So it is not a bad thing at all to maybe just say, I'm going to just take one light color, one dark color, and I'm going to paint a miniature with that. Oh, thanks, Accent Blitz, and thank you so much. Appreciate that. Oh, Valfera. Well, Valfera, yeah. I was, I saw the picture there. And now, well, I'm trying to remember if that is the one and only one, or if this is like the kind of the opening round to do, like you say, the cleanup stuff there and make sure everything is all good. So yeah, Accent Blitz. There is, let's see, I think there's 100 basing tutorials on there, just basing tutorials. I believe there's at least 7 or 8 terrain tutorials, and then quite literally hundreds of object source lighting tutorials and freehand tutorials. Just some cleanup and done. Well, Valfera, again, hopefully we can keep some company for you here. It would make me feel real good, actually, if we could do something nice and mellow here. And then maybe it was so mellow and so tranquil that you just fell asleep. That you fell asleep before your requisite film noir. So Tiny Tusk. Well, actually, the colors that I've been using on the horsey, so Van Dyke Brown and this Brilliant Yellow Pale, that would not be a bad, if you're going to just take a dark and a light, that would not be so bad. Indigo and the same Brilliant Yellow Pale, also a good choice. And again, thanks so much, Valfera, for I know you've got, you have your own situation there that has, well, that just been so, that's been yikes. Is there any other word besides yikes? Well, there's other words. There's other words that might not be quite so Twitch friendly, right, right, Valfera? But we are also going to welcome in. Is this Arid? I believe this is Arid Can Wife. Everybody, please give Arid Can Wife a follow, and thank you so much for the raid. So Arid, we're getting into some miniatures. Wow. Well, we did the freehand stuff last night. No, on whenever the last stream was, on Monday. But now we're getting into some regular miniatures again. Hey, Redneck Connection, how you doing? And again, everybody, please give Arity Canwife a follow. So we're getting into this Song of Ice and Fire unit. It's called the Starfall Outriders. It's from the new Martel faction. And of course, they've been the subject of a couple of tutorial videos already. Here is the rest of the unit with their movement tray, palm tree, palm plants, and of course some sculpted sand dune textures in some ways, not all that dissimilar to these Targaryens right here. Now these guys are magnetized, so oh look, I can do this. Well, hopefully I can do that with the Martels by next week or something like that, and then we'll be able to flash them around like this, and also our Night's Watch, because this is the Cavalry channel after all. Thank you so much, Arid, for the bits. That is appreciated. Thank you so much. Well, Arid, can I say I'm not going to be jinxing anything if I guess, am I? Am I going to be jinxing something? I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to jinx it. So now, Arid, was that a new offer, or was that the younger couple or the older couple, or was it a brand new offer? Either way, that's huge, huge, huge news. Uh, yeah, Velfera. I know you would have some other choice words for it. Yeah, I think you would have a whole plethora of choice words to describe your opinion on how all that stuff went. Right? You've got you'd say, yeah, here's my opinion on that. Ah, geez, looked at the house too. Wow, holy smokes, Arid. So everybody say congrats to Aridican wife. Man, Arid, that I don't want to set you back in the recall of just how long you've been waiting for that to happen. But wow, that is fantastic. And it's got to be a humongous relief. Arid, is it such a relief that, and it's been, well, you've been waiting for this for so long that you just kind of got used to the waiting? And now all of a sudden you're like, huh, wait, I don't have to worry about this anymore? And I hope that means there's a whole bunch of stuff that opens up for you too, besides just, well, I don't have to worry about this stupid thing anymore. Oh geez, Bithron, thank you so much. Bithron, the Clip Master, now is also done the sub thing. Thank you so much for 16 subs. Thanks so much, Bithron. So that's a well, 7.5 months, would you say, Arid? Yeah, Arid, when it was the first month or two, you're just like, well, okay. Then all of the stuff happened with certain rates of an interesting nature. See what we did there? And then it was just like, holy smokes. But man, Arid, that is, well, that was the move, right? That was the move. All the other stuff. I mean, this sets in motion. It's like a liberation, wouldn't you say? Well, now, Velfera, pretty soon when we're out of that, this will have to be our new medicine here. So that's just hot chocolate. So I don't know if that's something you can have. And it's not fortified with anything. It has not been subsequently fortified by anything. So that might be might be something you could have, hopefully. Thanks, Arid, for making this medicine run out so that we can get to our other yummy stuff. So again, Arid, that's just, all kidding aside, just total seriousness, you can just get so, you just keep thinking about it so often, you say, well, it's never gonna, this burden is never gonna be relieved. Nothing to eat or because of, well, yep. So it's the fast, I guess, as they would say. Now, of course, everybody in the chat, let's all say a hello to Velfera, and let's everybody wish glad tidings for Velfera, so that Velfera can get back to making all those very colossal sized figures once again. And Velfera, I'm guessing that if someone were to say, well, you have your choice of dealing with this, or you have to figure out. It's going to take you 2 months to figure out why your printer doesn't do what you want it to do. You'd say, I'll take the 2 months of the printer being being a pain than what you have to deal with now. Alright, so you sit on for 3 months before you can buy a house. Yeah, Arid, it's that, well, the domino effect, right? And, well, does this also mean that, well, let's see, Arity can build, maybe won't have to be so protective of certain projects then that had to be locked away in a certain room if you could find that other place. So Valfera can confirm, if given the choice of printer misery or this, all the printer misery in the world would be gladly accepted. But really, now Arid, of course, now that you can think about these things without actually tormenting yourself, are you kind of writing up the list of things you would really like to see, like good streaming areas, good project areas? I can only imagine now you're just letting yourself feel that. Oh, thank you so much, Valfera. Appreciate that. Let's see now. Did we actually? So primordial travel gets. Oh, you already have that list. Oh, we're 75% to a level 1. I didn't realize that. Holy smokes. Sorry about that. I knew with it there was the beginnings of one. So we're getting there. So it says 75% to the hype trains. Oh, looks like 80. Oh, thank you so much, Grand Oracle. See, we can use this. There's whipped cream in there instead of the other type of fortification. Yeah, we didn't do the other type of fortification. Well, who knows? We may have to start doing that on our subsequent streams here. Where's my brilliant yellow pale? Yeah, let's get some of that here. So thank you so much, Grand Oracle. I'm gonna have to get some more of my lighter brilliant yellow and pale in there. Now here again, these hands really, well, that one anyway is chewed up by the mold lines. Again, that's just something that happens with these miniatures. So yeah, Valfera, as soon as I saw the color scheme on this, I really thought this whole warm black, cool black would be a really good sort of educational thing for people to see. And hopefully that has played out that way, or will, because we'll get that video posted to the Patreon page later tonight. Thanks, Grand Org. Oh, Danny M gets the benefit of this. Speaking of the Iron Horse, away goes that horse, and in comes this horse again. This is the Iron Horse. There it is, the hype train. Hype train just moving right along. There it is. Hype train, hype train. So glad those batteries still work. And like we've mentioned a few times, you can get these on Amazon. You get the engine, the coal tender, a bunch of track, and if it's the passenger thing, you get 2 passenger cars. If it's more the freight thing, you get 2 freight cars, and those should only be about 20-something bucks. And that's about it. And well, of course, this year I had all kinds of plans for that. Actually, to have one of those underneath the Christmas tree, be the first train set under the tree in this house, and well, since before I was born, probably. So you have a good one there, Danny M. Have a nice day at work, or at least a quick day. At least a quick day. So thanks everybody for the... Appreciate the hype train as always. Now we're in the part of the calendar here where those are even more important, so We appreciate that all the more. Ooh, here we go. Let's take that, fade that just a smidge. Don't want to get rid of it completely. Yeah, there's pictures of my older siblings. One of whom was the oldest of us, was born in 1949. And there's a picture of him and the next youngest sibling right there by the tree with the train set underneath it. Thank you so much, Arid. Thank you so much. Oh, it's a big pack of bits right there. Oh, that's a big. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Well, that was a big pack of bits, so we had to take a big swig of the stuff there, of our medicine. Arid, that's kind of crazy that after all these months and all of the machinations, this, that, and the other, it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, boom. Well, and I don't know, maybe that just makes sense, right? Maybe that just makes sense. Thank you so much, Arid. Arid. Oh, that's right, because we're almost to a level 2. Wow, that advanced to level 2. It was at 11, now it's at 83. At 83 because Arid just did a bits blitz right there. I think that just about, oh, so close there. Arid, I don't know, in some ways, I guess that's a bit like ripping the band-aid off. That's a little bit like just tearing that band-aid right off. Now, of course, yes, we have our hype train. That's not the only type of hype train that we might have here. There's also this hype train. Hype train, there it is. Hype train. Still don't know where that is. We'll just have to sculpt something, I guess, and paint it to look like gingerbread. But thank you so much for the hype train. Appreciate that. Let's see. Dave, to me, well, I don't know anything about Song of Ice and Fire, unfortunately. But when I look at the Starfall Outriders right there, that seems that's just too North Africa and not just doesn't seem quite like Andalusia. So thank you so much, Dave. So this was part of our cookie decorating stream that we did years ago. Seriously, where's our angel here? Ah, here it is. Yeah, this is, well, what's left of one of our weeping angels. That's also one that we did again on a cookie decorating stream, which you can still see. Valfair, I was really shocked when I looked at that thing and I went, what the heck happened to this thing? Well, since it has to be right next to me, that means it's also kind of in an area where it's going to get beat up and stuff's going to fall on it and it's going to get dropped a lot. And that's, I believe that's what happened to it. Either something fell on it or it got dropped or something like that and caused a wee bit of damage to it. So Dave, I'm thinking more like a Morocco type of a situation there. And not so much Spain, because Spain you would still see the type of construction that you see like the Alhambra. Again, I don't know anything about Song of Ice and Fire, so I haven't seen any kind of imagery of the Martel construction. So that would be somebody who's actually seen and read the books. I haven't seen the show either. I don't know if did they include them in the show. I don't know if they included them or the Greyjoys or anything like that. Again, never read the books, never saw the show. So I basically have to use. I'll basically message Jim from Dark Sword and say, okay, so what's the deal with these guys? Which does irk. It does irk him since, of course, Song of Ice and Fire, that's kind of his favorite thing, pretty much. Yeah, let's tighten up some of these lines here. Oh, yeah, definitely over here. Trying to work in some darks here. Now, Valefair, is this a situation where every half hour you're just about to fall asleep, you're kind of drifting off, and then all of a sudden, well, they do the hospital version of a hype train, and they come blasting in there, and they say, okay, we're going to just check this, check that, and by the time they're done, you are now firmly awake again? Because that's sort of how those things go, right? You're just about to drift off, and then there's a sound, an alarm, something, or they just burst in, have them do something or whatever. So Dave, hopefully you're having yourself a fantastic new year. Ooh, let's get the dark over here. And let's get some around our... Yeah, we need some over here too. So that's the indigo mixed with the Van Dyke brown. Not using black there. Did this get... I'm just going to throw some of that bluish black under there. We're also going to have to get some of our lights onto our horsey. Onto his mouth. It is the weird dichotomy, wouldn't you say, Valfera? It's the one place where you would really want to have some sleep. And that's the last thing that's going to happen. Thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for, again, posting the link to the Patreon page. Like I said, this just needs to get uploaded after the stream. Once that is uploaded and such, then we will we'll get that on to the Patreon page, and that's our next video there. Here, let me just draw a little bit of my brown matter on just a couple of these areas here before we get to our celebration hype train. I guess we also have to do a little bit of hype train for Arid here. Where the heck is there? It is. There's one last hype train. There it is. This horse is... Uh-oh, I'm out. I'm out because of being replaced by this hype train. There it is. All aboard. All aboard the hype train. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate that. You know, I'm going to throw some of that down here. Maybe a little bit thinner. Not too much. We don't want to go overboard on the border here of each of these. Probably get some more light down there too. So again, Arid, thank you so much. Ooh, how about we get even more light on our sword here. And that's why, yeah, this area here, we actually had to file that down because it was one of those crazy little round circle that sometimes you see them on sprues. I swear there's another one over there. So again, thanks everybody for the hype trains. Appreciate that. Might still try to get some magenta on a part of this sword blade surface here. Where's my blending brush? We'll get to this. So again, thanks so much everybody for the hype train. Especially with the new situation here and such, that's even appreciated even more. So Valfair, they come with absolutely nothing on the bases. I wish I had one to show you, but they're just totally flat. There is nothing on the bases. Again, if I had one to show you, which unfortunately I just don't, but well, let's put it this way. The base is as pristine as this. All of this was added. All of that texture was sculpted on. Here's the rest of the unit here. So yeah, there's unfortunately there's no texture at all on the bases. They're just strictly flat, nothing on them. Again, if I had a base to show you, I would, but I have no figures here that don't have some kind of stuff on the bases. So we added the, not only did we add the bulletin board cork, but then the DAS air dry clay too. And I think this one, unlike the last one, I think I actually took out a brush to soften it. Let me just look at this to see if this one, yeah, so, oh no, maybe I did break out the brush to soften this down too. Okay, it doesn't look as different from this as I thought it would, so maybe I did break out the brush. Thanks, Velfera. It's the same thing that I do on my Harad. Now I don't know. You can't really. There's no dunes on that. What about? Let me see if I can find one of my Harad guys here and see if we can. Here we go. Maybe not quite that one. What about this one? Here it is. There we go. So same thing. This base was just as flat as this. It's literally the same exact base, but here we added the sand dune texture just like we did on the other one. And I have to say that's kind of a fun thing. Now this whole palm tree deal, I think you're going to be seeing that again, except now that we've been printing out these, we've been printing out our Far Harad army. So I think you're going to be seeing that on them. Hey, Recoil. Hello, Recoil and Recoil's mom. Well, Happy New Year, as always. And, of course, Recoil. I think you were here for the discussion about the half-hour Australian time zones. And I believe it's the central part of Australia. Or is it the northern part? Or is it north central that does the half-hour time zones? Because that's always something that would, again, confuse me trying to figure out when a game of footy would be starting at my time. Was those half-hour time zone changes? So nice to see again, Recoil, as always. I think we're all caught up there. Yeah. So we have Velfer. There's just there's something really relaxing about sculpting the sand dudes, and of course these units give me a chance to kind of integrate it into the tray as well, which is even more fun. You know what? Let me change this around a little bit here. There we go. I'm going to try and... Alright, that's a little bit of a jog into that. That's better. So fantastic to see again, Recoil. I trust that you've been able to have some fun there maybe in this new year. Let's see if I can't lighten this up. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Not too much though. The idea is to kind of almost give it a shine. A little bit of a shine. Now here, this is very rough because, well, mold line runneth through it, and that means we have to deal with that. Now, yeah, Valfera, that giant palm that's sitting in the center, kind of like an umbrella. Well, now, I know it's hard to see in the lower right-hand corner there, but that's the box art. And I swear, not just that I thought chickens could fly, or turkeys could fly, but I swear that I did not see that box art there. So when I came up with the concept of the palm tree thing, that was just me saying, okay, this unit I think would work really well for palm trees. I didn't see that, but when I did find that picture, when I was going to film the video for the painting, I went, you got to be kidding me. It had never ever occurred to me. So there is a half-hour time zone. Yeah, okay, I just thought I was losing my mind. Recoil. Well, I am, or well, no, I did. Yeah, not I am, or I'm in the process of. It's gone. Yeah, there's that. You can bid farewell to that. Any measure of sanity is gone. But that Velfair, because I had done the sand dunes thing, and then of course I think if you recall the Martel Heroes that I painted, where we did that Arabic floor, right? That not 3D printed, but the texture roller floor, where it had all the symbols in it, but we had taken out some of them, and that was some more Martels that we painted on stream. I didn't want to do that with the horsies because we've done the marble stuff with the horsies before. And I thought, well, let's see if we can make the palm trees work. So Northern Territory, oh, and South Australia have it. Okay, so well, kind of your central areas there. Well, Tiny Tusk, I guess, I don't know, could you say that if I do lose my mind, would I really notice that I lost it? Because I wouldn't remember. So maybe it all works out in the end. If you lose your mind, can you really notice it? Because, well, you wouldn't know it was ever there in the first place. Not sure I even had one in the first place. Maybe it's all just been functioning on the brain stem and that's it. Let me see if I can't get the light in the eye over here. It's a little bit tough thing to reach because of the nature of the sculpt and just, well, the nature of the Song of Ice and Fire minis in the first place. And remember, there's no, what would you say that, what the heck do people call that, where they just paint it in pieces? Yeah, you can't do that with these things. They're all together in one piece. So you cannot do a sub-assemblies, I think is what they call it. Yeah, you're not doing that with these guys. Unless you rip them apart. And even then, you couldn't rip this apart because the figure is part of the horse. So that's another reason why the oils are super handy, because you don't necessarily have to commit to that whole sub-assembly thing. I'm just going to paint the arm or the head or whatever. To be honest, not always the best idea. How are you going to keep that color harmony, the value harmony, all that stuff together when the pieces aren't even together? Makes it really tough to do that. Ooh, I'm just going to throw some more of our light down there, and then we'll just grab this as a blending brush. And we'll just integrate that. There's actually some of our magenta getting in there too. Alright, well, Arid, thank you so much. And of course, congratulations again. Congratulations. That's really, now that is such a huge relief for you on multiple levels. So glad you don't have to deal with that anymore. Now, one thing we haven't done is try and get the some decent lights here on our indigo. Indigo, a fabulous color for basically creating sort of like a bluish black. You might go back in a couple places to reestablish a few hefty darks. Some more lights on the pants. We'll see what we can do with the boots as well. Also going to have to hit our tree down there. Yeah, let's get a couple more lights over here on these folds. Really don't have much going on here. Got mold lines. Sometimes they almost affect the cab more. They also can affect the daintier figures like this more than the bulky ones. The bulky ones is a little bit easier to hide that sort of stuff, especially if they're mostly just cloaks. But when they've got the smaller, snazzier, finer bits like this, those mold lines tend to bite you a little bit more. Remember, with the oils, it's not a zero-sum game. You can go lighter like this, but then we can also go the other way. We can say, all right, we're going to take some of our darker color. We did that on the horse, right? We might still do that in a couple of areas on the horse. I'm also maybe going to throw a little bit of some of this blue, bluish gray on our horse. Thanks, Elite. Boy, actually, that was the other thing I was trying to discuss with Megan there. Now that she started doing her streaming, was the emotes, and well, you still have to make those the old-fashioned way. She thought you didn't have to make the 3 different sizes of the same image, which can really be difficult, especially those 2 smaller ones. At some point, I will try to make some more emotes. There's just well, not been the time for it. And again, with the new situation, that also might not leave too much time for those kind of things. We'll do the best that we can. Best that we can. What about? I'm gonna get back to my dark here. So that will be the indigo, possibly. Possibly add some of our Van Dyke brown to it to make it even darker. Oh, thanks, Elite. Well, that is something that I painted a lot back in the day of the 2D art, whether it was pastels, whether it was oils, whether it was watercolors. Really enjoyed painting the wolves. I've even painted the wolves with the PBO or Pabeo, the paints that you can basically fire in a conventional oven. It's another area, because that I thought was part of the headscarf. Well, that's not. That is actually the part of this strap right here. And we also need to do the clean up stuff on that. On the sword handle there's some more we're going to have to do to that. Let's also try to create some more darks in the horse's face around the bridle and the reins. Darken this down too. Give the horse another eye over here. I could just do some pinline washes maybe on the mane here. Is it? Okay, I guess it's, well, again, it's kind of chewed up in terms of from the mold lines and such, but I still think I need the darks in there. Now, of course, the painting pyramid That we're talking about 2013, right? That's when I first started doing the tutorial videos. That is, that's when I created this whole idea of the painting pyramid to describe this idea that you take these different techniques, these different ideas, and you build them. They have building blocks. Treat them like building blocks. And I actually had to come up with a graphic for the Patreon page, and that was this thing. We actually made T-shirts out of these things. Although, well, we'll get to that elite in just a second because Mini Ruckus has decided to create a ruckus with a raid. Thank you so much, Tatar. I appreciate that. Along comes Gandalf. He says, "Hello, new little hobbits." Okay, this is crazy. Are you also Harad? It's like, dude, wrong genre, wrong story. See this? Song of Ice and Fire. He's like, Ma, you look like Harad to me. It's like, yeah, those Harad figures are tiny, man. We're like twice the size. Well, maybe not twice the size. That would be Conquest figures. So, Mini Ruckus, how are you doing? It's nice to see ya. We're finally back into some miniatures. Yes, look at this, actual miniatures. We had fun with all the ornaments and stuff. Ball, how you doing? Now, oh, here's another. So we're getting into these Starfall Outriders. So this is another one of the Martel units from Song of Ice and Fire. They're not all that dissimilar as far as the basing goes to our Targaryen Cavalry, which we also painted a bunch of that. And here's the rest of the unit here with the movement tray. Oh, look at that, palm trees. 3D printed palm trees. Well, look at it from Make It Epic basing. So we just, I don't know, I had to try this. And of course, then you look at the box art here in the lower right-hand corner, you can say, my gosh, there are actually palm trees shown with the unit. So what do you know? Everybody, please give Mini Ruckus a follow. And of course, Mini Ruckus, if there's anything that you wanted to share in the chat, that would be fantastic, of course, if you want to share anything. Hey, Paintwater, everybody also please give Paintwater Sommelier a follow. So Paintwater Sommelier, great to see you. Fantastic to see you. I hope that you're doing really well. And again, everybody please give Mini Ruckus a follow. Well, sorry that the bug done got you there. Surface tension, sorry about that. Now, we do have to see, let me see, we can take you back to the original painting pyramid. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so this has been around longer than time itself. As you can see, it was there at the very creation of the universe. And you can recognize some of the things there. You have your object source lighting, your free hand. Also, well, at the time it was called shaded base coat. Those were some of the things that were the main building blocks. I wish I had thrown basing in there. Actually, that would have been nice to have as that final sort of lower end block of our pyramid. Well, then you start to get into maybe some more intricate things. Your color theory, which we cover with the oils all the time. Things like skin tones, glazing. So you just want to start with those essential things. And then you can start to think about those fancier techniques, I guess, or the more elaborate stuff, right? Color theory, which we break down into a simpler thing where we just say, well, a color is warmer or cooler. None of this complementary color stuff or opposites, nah. So if Paintwater, if you want to share any, as always, if you want to share some links in the chat or anything like that, please feel free to do so. I'm going to try and get some magenta here on that face. We have a whole bunch of dark from our pre-glaze, but not much in the way of, say, magentas here. Now let's see if we can make something lighter there. No problem, Mini Ruckus, no problem. Now again, well, we painted a whole bunch of ornaments all during the month of December. 13 of them, in fact, whether they were planets or whether they were landscapes of Middle Earth. But that was really fun doing those. No problem. Oh, sure, I definitely understand, Mini Ruckus. When you're doing the streaming thing, you don't. I mean, you may take a sip of something, but you're really not eating or drinking, and you can work up quite the appetite, can't you? So for all of the new folks that came in with Mini Ruckus, we appreciate you being here. We're using traditional artist oils, as in out of the tube artist oil paint. So we're not using them for any kind of finishing techniques. We've start to finish. 2 hours ago, well, 2 hours and 26 seconds ago, I guess you could say, it was they were just primer, like these guys here. If I could actually get them out of the movement tray here. 1 second. So yeah, just a few hours ago, it was the same color as that guy in the movement tray. Now let's see if we can just try and get him out of that tray. Nope, not able to do that. Oh, well, no problem, RIP artist. I hope it's a lot of fun. I've never seen those guys myself. Well, the only Twitch channel, sadly, that I get to see is this one. Wish I could check out more, but yeah, this is the only Twitch channel I get to see. Of course, while eating on stream, I suppose you could try and do that, but very difficult. Now, of course, the old Saturday challenges that I used to love so much, we would basically take about 5 minutes where I would try and shove as much food in my face as I could, and then just get right back to it, because those were the 11 to 12 hour streams. So yeah, and I used to be able to see some of the fellow late nighters, Drax and Jinx and so on. Of course, there was Avocado Kids back in the day, and Zula. Oh, and Thunderdome Drew. I don't think that he's painting anymore. Well, not doing. I don't think he's streaming anymore. And of course, Stila, who still streams when she can. She's very busy with stuff these days. Yeah, Tiny Tusk. The frozen pizza would get stuck in there. And then, well, I don't know if you could hear the beep of the oven, but Kathy would stick her head in and say, okay, the pizza's ready. And then we could partake of that very quickly, just snarf it down, and then get right back into the painting. Now we're going to throw some more of our light down here. So all of this was sculpted with the Daz air dry clay. We also used our bulletin board cork here. That's fabulous stuff, because it's so amazing at simulating a lot of different textures. And it looks like rock instead of just, oh look, it's cork, because you can so easily do different levels of it. Let me see. Oh, yeah, here's another. Yep, there we go. This is also bulletin board cork, with a little different treatment afterwards. Also some different 3D printed plants there. So both of those bases essentially bulletin board cork. Same thing here on this one, but now it's even different. We have them up on an angle. We actually took some of the broken pieces of bulletin board cork and sort of put those upside down on top of our, so you can see them here. Again, look at all these little tiny pieces of bulletin board cork like this. that makes a really fantastic rock. Only it's way cheaper than having to buy actual rocks, right? Let me see if I can't. This whole thing here I think could probably stay. Yep, this could stand to get some light on it here. Oh yeah, this thing needs to be changed to brown matter and away from all the magenta that we've got here. And like we've done before, we're actually going to take some green, some of a radiant green to do the highlight. Yes, radiant green to highlight brown. Where's, here it is. So again, I apologize for whatever reason. Twitch is just making things very jittery as far as the stream goes. Don't know what is going on. Nothing I can do about it. I'm going to... it's been kind of doing that for the last several streams. Don't understand why. Do I need some? Yeah, I'm just going to try and sneak some dark in over there. And then maybe also two here on our sword blade. Hey there, Space Toy. Nice to see you. I hope that everything has been going fantastic for you so far. I'm going to actually have to bring some... yeah, I'm going to have to bring some of my lighter grayish blue in on this side here. Just take some of this. Okay, and this fold too. Also up there. Yeah, we suddenly had an area with absolutely no shading whatsoever there. Plenty of darks, yes, but not much in the way of our shading. It did. The holidays went okay. We got lucky there. We actually got luckier than we thought we were going to be. So everybody, please also Space Toy file. Actually, Space Toy, if you want to post any pictures there in the chat of your Instagrams and such, so that people can see some of the fabulous stuff you've been doing. Lucardo, thank you so much. Sorry that, well, I've actually, if Kathy were in the chat, she could actually give you a proper greeting, because she has been studying Dutch for, well, I think the last 2.5 years now. Something along those lines. So, Lucardo, thank you so much. That is appreciated. And of course, well, I hear her doing her Dutch lessons all the time. I know we had a discussion on a recent stream about how, as far as the way the time is expressed. Now, I've heard her say that more than one time, Lucardo. Yes, indeed. And she really... I think that things, they stand on the table, or they rest on the table, or they sit on the table, whereas here we would just say it's on the table. But in Dutch, you would have to, it's doing something, right? It's standing on the table, it's sitting on the table, it's resting on the table. You can't just say it's on the table. And everybody could please check out the link that Space Toy posted there. Some fabulous artwork. I'm trying to think of some of the other aspects that can be a little bit of a zinger. And of course, we are always getting fooled with German sometimes, but I think in Dutch, if there's an en at the end of the word, with Dutch, you eliminate the n. And I think in German you have a tendency to eliminate the e. So you would say the N, but not the E. Okay, I'm glad I was remembering that correctly, Ricardo. So some of the other things too. She'll listen to some of these YouTube channels where a Dutch language expert will bring, let's say, someone who speaks Polish, maybe someone who speaks uh, Swedish, and then someone maybe who speaks German, and he'll play some either old English or something said in a much older language, and the three of them will have to try and translate as closely as possible. And it's always interesting to see which person, and it's not always the person you would think, is able to translate it more closely just because of their own local language. So Elite, there's no way I can do, this is the largest thing that I can do because this is what fits on camera. So this is one of our 5x7 landscapes that we do. Anything larger than that, unfortunately, is too large. I am hoping, now of course, the big studio redo that never happened because of all the situation here in May. I thought I was going to have some time now to maybe try and at least set up that revised version of it so that we could try and do some larger things. That well, that's kind of on hold again. Yeah, Ricardo, there was a, I'm pretty sure it was the Seven Ages of Britain where they talked about the influences on Old English and where those would come from. And it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Now I'm going to get some more of my fast matte white here. Let's see if we can really hit the end of this blade there. Ah, there we are. And then this side too. I think even the way numbers are expressed is very different. I think, well, when you have your Latin-based languages and how they do numbers versus, well, say your Germanic languages, that can be really different. And then, of course, too, I would imagine even just within regions, there can be, well, there can be here too. There's some regions here where you could just travel about 500 miles away and they would barely be able to understand you. Even though it's all, well, not just English, but your Americanized English, of course, not Old English. See if I can. That's what was missing there. I knew. Get that just a smidge darker. Lighten this up too. See if I can't work in some more folds here. I don't want to do too much with reflected light like we would normally do on this, because we don't want to necessarily have that look like just a regular shiny steel. And of course, talking about these type of reflections, right? Where here the reflections have reflections where the light bounces off of this part of his shoulder and then hits this part over here. So we got our lighter indigo mix once again. I try to work a little more of that into the horse's mane here so that the horse is not just the warm colors.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my gum.
And thank you so much for that. Oh, thank you so much, Calypsis. I appreciate that. Hello, little hobbits. And of course, Tatar222 says, all right, this is crazy. Why does everybody keep coming from the east? And, well, dude, I got, spoiler alert, they're going to be coming from the south, too. He's like, what do you mean? It's like the guys on the camels, you know, the Far-Haride guys. Oh, not the guys with the half-trolls. They're bringing a cave troll. It's like, no, they're bringing a bunch of half-trolls, which would be 3D printed from Kurzlook miniatures. Because I have a few of the old GW metal ones. I think I already painted one of those. Yeah, I think I already painted one of the old metal GW ones. Haven't had a chance to paint one of the Kurzlook ones yet. And again, we're going to try and use this palm tree dune style basing for the rest of our Far-Harad. So we have a bunch of these printed out. We're going to try and get, oh, and some snakes. Snakes on a base. Snakes on a base, for sure. Let's get me some lighter colors on the tree. We'll just take our fast mount white and some of our radiant green again. See what we can do on these palm leaves here. I guess we can make that lighter than I thought. These are from Make It Epic Basing. 3D printed just like Mr. Palm Tree right here. Needless to say, I don't think I'm going to be throwing any palm trees on the Mahood bases because that would make gameplay somewhat difficult if each of the camels also was dragging around a big old palm tree on the base. Now, of course, they can have Mumox, so we could put some palm trees there, and of course it'd be fun to have some stomped on palm trees, where the thing is just kind of rampage through and knock down a bunch of palm trees. Thank you so much, Bithron, for doing the clip, as always. Much appreciated. I know the last stream we had a whole bunch of those. I think it was early. I think it was an earlier stream. Oh, and there was a bunch of raids. Yeah. So there was an inordinate amount of things to clip. Let me see if I can get some of my green here on that boot. Take some kind of a blending brush here. Maybe just this one. Push some of that around. Oh, I could swear there's about 7 of those or something. It was a lot. But I don't want to wipe out that little nifty bit of magenta that I have on the sword. I am going to lighten this up a smidge here. Even then you can see how that all is blending together all at once. Okay, I think we're all caught up. There's a few like this here, so you can see there's a break in that there. That means somewhere along the line they attached something together here, because while they're all one piece when you get them, there is someone had to assemble them there. Lucardo, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. It's just been happening a lot lately. I wish there's something I could do, but there is nothing that I can do about that. And it's kind of been doing that. Well, it hasn't always been. Sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it won't. No problem there, Grand Oracle. You get yourself to sleep, then I can totally understand. So yeah, sorry, nothing I can do about that. It hadn't happened for months and months and months, and for whatever reason now it's doing that again. We'll try to here. Let's get to lighten up our magenta here again. Maybe I'll take the yeah, we were using, well, we actually went all the way to this, the magenta and some of the brilliant yellow pale. Yeah, I don't know if it's been that way for other folks too. Bithron, has anybody else had kind of the same crazy thing happen to them? Because I know there was another. Well, then there was the crazy weather stuff too. Let me see if I can't get my lights like right along this part here where the scarf sort of wraps around this way. That helps. That helps a bunch. I know sometimes, I guess, on the weekends things can be crazy because maybe there's a convention, like a TwitchCon type thing or whatever. Lighten this up a little bit. Not too much on the blanket. I was really like my lighter stuff to be up here towards the top. I take this just more as a blending brush, just trying to manage brush strokes as much as anything else. I don't know if I want to lighten that too much more. But again, you can see it's if keeping the color simple, which is what the oils let us do, right? Van Dyke brown on the pre-glaze, indigo on the pre-glaze, that mix of the Egyptian violet and the naphthol red for the pre-glaze there. Keeping it simple makes it really easy to try and match things up, doesn't it? Of course, it's not necessarily all that far away from our Harad stuff. Oh, look, even a black horse there too for our lovely Harad guide. Now, this I think was Printing Goes Ever On. Yep, that one is Printing Goes Ever On. First, I was thinking that was Diwali, but I'm pretty sure that's not. Boy, it's been so long since I've done some of those. I don't even know if I ever took the final pictures of that one. I have no idea. Somehow, yeah, we got some blue in there. We want that to be our magenta light. Maybe on the ends of the scarf here. Try to throw it and make it look like the light is not here, right? Because of shadow. Let's make it look as if the light has snuck its way through. And it's been a while since we've done that film noir. Let's do that here. So now your rider, your horse. Yeah, there's shading there. There's lights and darks, but you don't really see the difference anymore, right? So it's not so much that the rider is lighter than the horse or the saddle is darker than the horse. They're all pretty much in that same range of values, but it's one is warmer than the other, one is cooler than the other, and we'll show that here again as we bring back our color. Now you see the blues, you see the warmer browns, well, and then of course the magentas. And when we had those other pieces that we showed earlier with the object source lighting, where we killed all the color just like we did here, you can see that sometimes object source lighting can be as much about your color contrast as it is about the value contrast. Let me get more of my lighter magenta here. We ended up with too much of the fast matte white on the end of that. The horse here, have we gotten enough light on the underside of its chin? I'm going to try a little bit more here. Get some Indian yellow if I can, and a little, guess some of our red, sort of an orange here. For the handle of our sword, we have a lot of kind of greenish yellow colors, not quite as much as our bright gold. That should help it look a little shinier, a little more contrast compared to all of the cooler colors like the blue right next to it. It's not that I want it to be that much lighter, I just need a more intense color right there. On these areas of trim, I'm going to see if I can't do the same thing. So some of this essentially is an orange color here. Because we talked about how a really light color next to a dark color can enhance that darker color, make it look darker than it really is. That's just a little visual trick right there. Same thing goes the other way. Let's say you can't make a color any lighter. You say it's practically white already. What you could do is just take that surrounding area and then just make it darker. Your light color will appear lighter than it actually is. Here we have a whole bunch of things that are all just, well, very, very light. I'm going to see if I can't right here on this stirrup. All of a sudden our highlight looks a heck of a lot lighter. We also sharpen the edge, so we did a bit of value contrast, but we also did some edge contrast there. That little bit of dark, I couldn't make that any lighter. That was white. Even as white, there was still not enough value contrast to the area next to it. Just had to go in there and darken it down. More of this really dark, sort of a violet here. On the underside, there we go. Yeah, this is also going to need it here. So the edge of that spur also gets sharpened. So again, the stream on Friday and Saturday, well, later today and tomorrow, I guess you could say, they may have to be later starts like this one just because of the situation here. I probably won't know until right before. So if I can do my favored more early Friday time stream, I'll just kind of pop up, and if you don't hear anything from me, well, it just means it'll be a later start like this one. It would be really nice if, well, both of those could start earlier, especially the Saturday one, because then I could possibly paint the movement tray that goes along with these guys. Now here we got a whole bunch of crazy sharp edges, and I need to tone those down. It's more about the brush strokes here rather than blending the actual colors. And these are traditional oil paints, split between three brands for the most part: Winsor Newton, Gamlin, Williamsburg. The Williamsburg paints, well, those are gonna cost more. They are really worth it though when they say handmade on that label. That is a real, genuine thing. It's not just something they toss on there. It really means that they're handmade. You can tell there's not the fillers and such that maybe you see on even decent brands like the Gamlin and Winsor Newton. And those are both solid brands. They're very good. Geez, I've used Winsor Newton stuff for a long time. Not quite sure I ever got a light enough edge on this one. No, I never did. Again, we're just using brilliant yellow pale for the most part here. Sort of tinted in a couple of places with the radiant yellow that's from Gamlin. Maybe let's now I don't know if this machine still wants to do I have no idea. Of course, updates always mess with our sound and pretty much destroy that. I thought I'd already done the update on this one. Maybe that's what's also making things crazy. I don't know. Yeah, see, there was a little too much of the thinner on the brush there. It basically turned that into a pin line wash. Not really a problem. Really easy to correct things with the oils. All I need to do is just clean it up with another brush. And when you see me using the blending brushes and do that sort of thing, it's a brush that has no paint on it. It's absolutely no paint at all. And all I have to do then is come in there and it sort of acts like an eraser. Now, how many times have you had things maybe go a little bit astray with the acrylics and maybe you don't notice right away, or even if you do, it's too hard to really do anything about it because it's either dry or in the practically dry already. But fortunately with the oils, you get not just a second chance, but a third chance and a fourth chance. And just because the oil's dry, let's say you have to stop painting, go to sleep so you can get to work or do whatever. Just because the oil's dry doesn't mean the fun is over. Talk about it all the time in our army painting series. Those things are 5 episodes long. Even if I was to continuously film, my oil paints, they dry fast enough that some of the original stuff I put on those figures would be dry before I could finish the series. So I try to show just how you can take advantage of maybe the oil's dry. Sarge is back at the casa. Now, Sarge, do you have some snazzy chow that you might be eating, or is it kind of more of a quick standard type thing? And again, I know that you're 12 days essentially of the hobby goodness. You wish it could have been 112 days. And it wouldn't really matter, right, Serge? If you had the 112 days at the end of it, you'd say, oh man, I wish I could have done this thing or that thing. Because that's kind of how it goes with painting. No matter how many things you accomplish, says, "Oh man, I wish I could have also done this bust or this large scale piece." That's it is ironic that you say that, Sarge. That was all that was available to us yesterday. I think we were at the end of the line for the food cart, so that was basically our choice. There was peanut butter and jelly. They also had peanut butter and jelly, and if you didn't like those two choices, the third one that was peanut butter and jelly. So if you didn't like the peanut butter and jelly, you could always choose the other peanut butter and jelly. Thank goodness, amongst the seemingly hundreds of pounds of stuff I bring along with it is some food. I think I have to start bringing along more for me next time. Because I'm used to living off the land, as they say, right? Holy smokes, do I see a free range minis in the house? I think I do. Free range minis, nice to see you again. I do hope that the holidays went as well as possible for you, or maybe as spectacular. I know for some folks the plans got versmizzled in one way or another. Well, Dave, really, that's the thing where they should just kind of cut their losses and say, well, we'll just, that didn't work out so well. But that 2 years, um, I think even with shows that do really well and are, well, somewhat more competent, hopefully a million times more competent, um, they don't do so well after a 2 year hiatus. And of course, Dave, you know what it's running into in 2024. The thing that I'm looking forward to, yeah, baby, War of the Rohirrim, 2024, and it's an animated movie, so they can do whatever sort of vistas they want, right? They don't need locations. They don't even need computer graphics because it's going to be animated, and as in drawing animated, not as in the Pixar type version. Now, Dave, there, I think it's kind of a meme or a video meme or something like that where you they take, I think it's the celebration maybe of, say, the Cleveland Cavaliers or something like that, where they set up one of those big screens outside so the fans can be together and watch the game and all that kind of stuff. And there's obviously the thing where they celebrate and they're jumping up and down and cheering and everything. Well, what's actually playing on the screen is the pyroclastic flow, where a certain individual somehow manages to be unaffected by the pyroclastic flow. But yeah, when the pyroclastic flow hits, the crowd goes nuts and cheers and everything. And I've seen that a bunch of times, and it never really gets old. That absolutely never gets old. Yeah, Dave, I was just referring to the, again, sort of the Pixar, like the Buzz Lightyear style animation, right, where it's almost more of a computer animation. Obviously, not a lot of cell painting. Would you say, Dave, like the old days of the Disney movies and such? Not much of that these days. But it just means that, well, you don't have to. You can do things however you want, and you don't have to. All you need is the voice, right? You just need voices. And of course, speaking of voices, you are going to have Eowyn as your, shall we say, the narrator. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Of course, Helm Hammerhand is going to be a big part of that story. And Helm Hammerhand is not going to be like a seafaring captain or something. They're not going to make those kind of adjustments to the story. I think that's pretty fair to say, which will be a relief. So I'm looking forward to that in 2024. But that's a buzzsaw they're going to be running into. Well, actually, I think. Oh, hey Dave, have you seen also? Now this is more of just a drawing meme. The Numenorian ships that where you have the secret rooms to make room for the 500 horses and all of their gear, and the nuclear-powered rocket engine that crosses the sundering seas in about 3 hours. Bithron, you really, honestly, unless you're just kind of looking for maybe some chuckles, you can save yourself the time, really, honestly. You can just save yourself the time. It really, that was ouch. That was ouch for the eyes. So the other thing too is the photoshopped people in all the scenes, and then of course the T-shirt armor makes you wonder exactly where did that $1 billion go when the armor was actually just basically sweaters with chainmail printed on it. So that also was somewhat curious. Now we did offer the Silly Marillion. We offered the Silly Marillion. We said, oh, we think this could be a big hit. It doesn't require a lot of graphics or anything like that, right? I mean, gee whiz. You want to have... Where did he go? Here he is. You could just have Sauron come as like, I am gonna end you in there. Really? Never rely on somebody named Wormtongue. Or Grima for that matter. Because I always see that. He's just interested in his stupid girlfriend there. Okay, we offered the Silly Marillion. They wouldn't take it. So what are you going to do, right? Now, yeah, Dave, once I realized that it was meant to be a lighthearted comedy, it was much easier to take. It was a lot easier to take, wasn't it? And it looks like we're just about to be hacked. Speaking of sorcerers, it's like, what is this thing, this hacking thing you're talking about? He's like, dude, man, get out of the way. We're interested in the Shadow Lord. It's like, oh, so really, a ring wraith magic user instead of me? Are you kidding? I'm like a Maiar, dude. Thank you so much, Magical Hack. How are you doing? If everybody could please give Magical Hack a follow, that would be sensational. So, see, Dave, I think right there, that was closer to canon, wouldn't you say? That was definitely more accurate right there, that particular scene. So, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Magical Hack. And of course, Magical Hack, if you want to share anything that you were working on, that's fantastic. Now, here, we are actually back to miniatures again. We had that December interlude with our holiday ornaments, but now we're back to the Martels in the form of the Starfall Outriders. Here's another one right there. The bases themselves, some lovely sculpted sand dunes. And here's some of the rest of the unit we're also going to be painting on stream later today and tomorrow. There you go. Look at that. Song of Ice and Fire. You can see there's your sculpted sand dunes. And look at this, palm trees. 3D printed palm trees. Very fun. That's not, of all the things that I would have thought as 3D printed basing bits, and we use plenty of them here, palm trees, not something I thought I'd be using. So now, Magical Hack, was it Was it sort of more your standard noise marines? And I guess my next question is, do the Primaris, are the noise marines also Primaris now, or are they still your regular older space marine size? Because boy, did I paint a noise? I might have painted one noise marine back in the day. I know that I scratch sculpted some some not defilers. What the heck were the you never quite knew what they were going to do. They were basically Terminators with, well, one had a plasma cannon and weird things. So Chaos Primaris. Okay. So they are Primaris size. And Magical Hack, if you have any work in progress on those, I know you just finished your stream, but if you're going to skedaddle off to the photo booth or something like that, and then you would want to post something here, obviously we can wait for you to do that. Well, Magical Hack, hey, look at that, we're doing some of that here, and we'll be doing, well, we've been doing a lot of that on all of the Martel stuff. Also, no cape, okay. Sorry, I read that wrong. My apologies. Well, Dave, I think you heard that the one actor that played the only character anybody liked, actually, he left the show. So yeah, the guy that played Adar, he is not part of the show anymore. I think he kind of figured out how that was going to go down. And he said, "Well, you guys have good luck with that." And he headed off to anywhere else. Cisco, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And hopefully, Cisco, the oils have been relaxing too. I mean, they save so much time, obviously. But hopefully, like you've seen her a couple of times where we say, didn't like how that went, we just wipe it away, toss something else in its place, no problem. So thank you so much for joining us all the way from Sweden. That is much appreciated. I know, let's see, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, thereabouts. It's gotta be, let's see, is it 11 o'clock in the morning for you there? I always kind of get mixed up where the central time zone begins and the eastern time zone ends. There we go. Everybody please check out the Instagram link from Magical Hack. Follow Magical Hack there. But don't forget to follow Magical Hack on the Twitches. Don't forget to do that. So it's 10 a.m. there. Okay, so 7 hours ahead of us. I know I asked, I think it was Thranio, I asked if Sweden was 7 ahead of us or 8 ahead of us. Finland, sorry, yeah, Finland. Well, maybe the eastern parts. Cisco, it's well, I don't know. Has it been the usual type of weather, or has it been warmer than usual, colder than usual? Here it's been bouncing back and forth between the two. So it is almost 11 o'clock in Finland. Because, I mean, Helsinki is, well, that's so far in the western part of Finland. I wasn't sure maybe if when you're starting to get more towards Karelia, if that's where you get into the 8-hour difference instead of the 7. Yeah, Cisco, it seems that way. There was a little bit, I think some folks in the northern parts, northwestern parts, they got a little bit of snow there, which surface tension painting can talk about. Thank you so much. We have our newest little hobbit streaking sheep. Gandalf says, I bet you that's something that the hobbits would do. You know what? The hobbits would probably, well, I don't want to say they'd enjoy it, but I don't know. It says, these hobbits that you're talking about, it's like, oh, it's a little bit cold up there for you guys. So it's like, dude, I don't think it's all that cold up there. He's like, no, seriously, man, there's no palm trees in Hobbiton. Well, oh, there's, look who's in the chat. Oh, it's 3 a.m. here. Everybody say hello to Kathy. I looked down there and went, wait a minute. Oh, so Kathy. So Cisco says there's snow in Sweden. Uh, actually, we've been doing some Dutch in the chat. And again, well, I said Kathy was trying to learn Dutch the last 2.5 years. I think it might actually be longer than that. So if Kathy wants to throw out as much of her Dutch knowledge as possible, because of course that's the first thing she wants to do at 3 o'clock in the morning when she's just groggy and woken up. And of course, I just want to make sure. So Lucardo, I don't know if you're still in the chat there, but yes, you can test Kathy's knowledge of Dutch. Because again, she just woke up. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. She'll be perfectly able to translate any Dutch that you throw her way. So let's see. Where is our? Where did our Samwise go? But we have some. Where is our Lothlorien picture here? Is this it here? Nope. That's still Edoras right there. There it is. Those pesky Malord trees, right? Those pesky Malord trees. There we go. So, hey, Orcsy, how you doing? See there, Orcsy knows. And of course, I would have to ditch the N. See, there we are. So, Licardo, well, it works out well. It wasn't quite the plan, but yes, now we can have an entire. Well, let's see. We just need Mr. Snowiak, the island painter. We need Pascal to show up, and I mean, this could literally be a Nederlands stream. It would be a Nordic stream, because let's not forget our friends from Finland and Sweden. Let's see, and of course, so Cisco. Now, actually, now are you from further up north in Sweden? Because obviously, you're gonna have some parts of Sweden there deep in the Arctic Circle, and I'm guessing there's gonna be some points where, oh yeah, it's been a month and a half, haven't really seen much of sun, or it's the sun just stays just kind of teasing you around the horizon all day long, never really gets very high, never gets low. So Cisco actually, well, remember those, here we go. This is how it started. It started just like this. And then we do that thing we call the pre-glaze, right? So here was just some Van Dyke Brown. Here was indigo. We did mostly Egyptian violet up here. See these sponges right here? We just wipe some of that away. So in some ways it becomes a bit of it's a working zenithal, because we can then take, where's my filbert brushes here? There we go. So we can take filbert brushes like this, start to work over some of our lighter colors, then we start to pick out some of our details. So we're doing this basically almost the way you would tackle an oil painting. So Stockholm not doing too badly down south, but North Sweden's got some insane amounts of snow. Well, hopefully everybody stays safe, of course. Let's see. That's not someone lives in Antwerp, is it? or wants to visit Antwerp, sorry. Now, of course, well, let's see. Where's here it is. Oh, well, yeah. Look. See that? Look at there's nasty weather in the north of Sweden right there. Finland also looking a little bit cloudy, so I think Finland's gonna have some snow. Now, of course, it looks all clear. Oh, look at this, clear in the Netherlands as well. Netherlands are looking just fine. Maybe that's why it's warmer in Europe right now. So, sorry, I can't resist. Can't resist that. Let me see if I can throw a little bit more light on. So here's another thing. See, we just took that light color there. We just slapped that on there. I'm gonna grab our blending brush right here. Now look at this. Hashtag no layers, right? See, we're just gonna go tap, 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 tap. Spread this around. No need for layers, no need for glazing or anything like that. We just took that lighter color, slap it on there, and then we just push that right around. Where's my brilliant yellow pale? Let me see what I can do. Oh, that's got way too much thinner. I can tell from right away that way too much thinner in it. Let me see if I can't catch some of the edges of this headscarf. There we go. The Muse Jazz Cafe in Antwerp. So we did have a blast, of course, painting the world. We just kind of changed the weather in various locations. Who knew that that the oils had that kind of power? Thank you so much, Orksy. Appreciate you being here, and again, dropping a little bit of the Netherlands down there in the chat so that Kathy could show off her linguistic skills. And again, everybody say hello to Kathy. She's there in the chat. So look at that. Now, of course, Kathy, the other day, was that yesterday? I think it was maybe yesterday. You showed me your phone, and of course, what would you call it? The autocorrect mechanism on the phone showed 3 words, and well, I think the middle one was Dutch, but what were the other 2? Were those also Dutch, or was one of them German? I could swear that the middle word was Dutch, but then the other 2 might have been German. I don't know. So I can say that is as much Dutch as we've had in the chat here. Sadly, I have not been studying Dutch for the last basically 3 years. So only the tiniest little bits of things that I can glean when Kathy's doing her Duolingo lessons. So they were Dutch words, but they did not belong in what you were typing. That's what I knew there was something that, okay, yeah, they were Dutch, but boy, didn't make any sense in context. Ooh, let's bring this up here now. I don't know how well Kathy's humidifier is holding out there, if that needs to be refilled. I sort of meant to fill that actually while the aforementioned Dutch was being practiced, but that kind of slipped my mind. But I'm just trying to imagine if French were on my keyboard app. And all of a sudden now you have to start adding the le and la onto everything. Okay, so we'll definitely try and snag Kathy some water for sure. Possibly also for drinking and not just for, I was just about to say burning, but water is usually less flammable. Well, unless you're using it for fracking. So yeah, if you set up some fracking in your backyard, maybe then you will have some of that flammable water. That is one way to be able to get some. You want to have tea or coffee in just a second. All you have to do is turn on the tap and add the tea or something like that. Yeah, actually, I just wish the keyboard I had would just cooperate with English, because it doesn't seem to do that all that well. I could swear that keyboard app has heard your Duolingo too many times and keeps trying to make some kind of monstrous English-Dutch combination words or something. Yeah, a little more of our, oh yeah. Bit more like right there. So like Valfera said, now hopefully Valfera is asleep. I'm actually kind of hoping that Valfera just sort of fell off asleep and, well, hopefully didn't miss Valfera. That he didn't say goodnight and we missed that. Hopefully not anyways. Now I'm going to see. I think I just got Van Dyke Brown on it, so we're going to take some of that and we're just going to throw a smidge of dark in here and then come back and I think we'll just use this. Maybe this here, a little combination of our fast matte white, touch of the radiant green. The Cisco, believe it or not, this is the video that is going to be uploaded to YouTube right after this stream, and then it'll be accessible to the patrons. This is the latest video. Also, this whole unit was part of a tutorial. This is the latest one that was posted to the Patreon page. It was a basing tutorial with these four guys, the palm tree. All that was 3D printed, and then all of the desert sand texture that was all sculpted in, and it's again along the same lines of what we did here for our Harad army. That's our near Harad army. And that whole idea of the 1200 hours, that's not a joke. It could be more than it could be 1300 hours by now, because typically every month I'm adding about 20 hours of new videos. Of course, there's the army painting series. Those are 5 episodes long. They begin with basing, take you all the way through. We do color test figures. Then, of course, videos. This is another very recent one right here on freehand designs. The idea of drawing it out first, paint it at the size of the miniature, not just any old size, but the size it's going to be on the miniature. Then it's a lot easier to transfer that design to the figure. Obviously, tons of object source lighting, tons of that, and of course, lots of color charts. If you're going to start with the oils, I highly recommend those. As in, really, you want to try and do stuff like that, because that will take away the mystery of some of the colors. You get a chance to see how they handle before they ever go on to the miniatures. Oh, thanks, Recoil, and thank you so much, Mom, And there, oh, and Kathy's in the chat to also say thank you in person. So thank you so much, Rico and Rico's mom. We appreciate you guys. It's especially cool that Kathy can be here in the chat. Usually that doesn't quite happen because she's asleep. So here, a nice little treat for Kathy. Now, what did I just do there? So I just slapped a bunch of colors there. Looks like just kind of carelessly, willy-nilly, as the expression goes. I don't know what that would be in Dutch, but we are now going to take our blending brush here. Look it like that. So there you go. You get some of the Blinky Cathys for Rico and Rico's mom. So mom, thank you so much. Well, that's what moms do. They take care of all the kids, no matter where the kids are from. So Rico's mom being a good mom to everybody. This actually has a little bit of green on it for whatever reason. I don't know, but I am going to take my blending brush to it again. We'll do it again over here. So, whoops, not exactly the blending brush. This is not the blending brush you were looking for. That one is, though. So see that the hugs from mom are always the best. Of course, Sambo's face hugs, those are always good too. Of course, Sambo is also a squishable stuffed animal. Make the most fantastic pillows, though. No way to deny that. Most fantastic pillows ever. Continuing with some of my lights here. Boy, oh boy, oh, there we go. That was, I didn't expect that to actually be the light color that I was looking for there. Now, one thing I was wondering, I have been checking, I haven't seen anybody else stream it. Well, at least nobody that I am following. Well, Mini Maddie's, okay. So Mini Maddie's is streaming, we can head over that way. But again, we will be continuing the rest of this Martel, was it Starfall Outrider unit on our next couple of streams. So that should be very fun. We'll have them all good to go. We can take some finished photos of them because it's going to dry fast. I'm fairly certain. After I do this here, let me break out the other one. Let's do a test on it. See what's all dry on this and what is not. Well, that's dry. That's dry. Also dry. This might be, the magenta stuff might be, well, maybe not. No, I think that's still not quite as dry as you would want it to be. The indigo, that's dry. So yeah, only a few little portions of this one about the base. Nope, also dry. So this, less than 24 hours ago, I was still painting this. Actually, 22 hours, I was still painting this thing. And it is almost 100% dry. So that's another thing with the oils. They do not have to, and I didn't do anything weird, no crazy mediums or liquid or anything like that. Nothing like that. Just less is more. More is way too much. That really, really matters with the oils. Now, I do want to say thanks for all of the cheers and the subs and the bits, of course. I want to say thanks to Bithron for doing the clips. I also want to say thanks to Armored Wolf for doing the moderation. And And of course, we also want to say thanks to Recoil and all the folks that have contributed to that. And of course, Valfera also was very kind, despite playing injured to say the least. Also contributed to get the ball rolling here on the new fun. So we appreciate everybody. Again, all the follows too. We really do appreciate that. And we will be, again, we'll be painting some more of these guys, doing the same color scheme. And like I said, maybe we also paint the movement tray with that big old palm tree sticking out of the middle of it like some kind of weird green umbrella. That will be one of the different paint streams we've ever had here. That's for sure. So again, I think I'm going to get the raid countdown begun here because we still have to clean off our. Yep, that's the alien symbiote fund. I don't know. I could just imagine if that was named that. That would really generate some interesting questions. Just now, I'm just pondering the questions for that. That's just imagining some of the responses. The slightly confused what that might just mean. That would be kind of hilarious. But yeah, we're going to get our raid countdown started here so that we can get Kathy some more water. We also have to clean off our brushes because they got some oils in them, which you could clean with this, and that's what we're going to use. Look, it's also for dried acrylics. It's not hazardous, no vapor. Probably not great for drinking, but it will do a fantastic job of cleaning off your brushes there. Well, Lady B, hello. I hope your new year is going well there, Lady B. Here, we'll get our raid countdown started. That takes about 20 seconds or so. So, yeah, we'll be working on another one of these later tonight. Hopefully, it'll be an earlier Friday stream. And then same thing on Saturday. So, thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate all of you, especially when things are kind of a little bit haywire. So, thanks a lot, and see you guys later today. Oh, and a happy birthday to Lady B before we exit the building here. Happy birthday there, Lady B. And see you later there, Rico. Again, I really do appreciate you and Mom. It means a lot. Thank you so much.